Do you need both? Do you just need one? Like, we shall see. I'm gonna put that to the test. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a little comparison between a big heat press and a handheld press. So I'm going to be putting HTV onto this t-shirt right here using both, and we're going to see if they actually work the same or not. Obviously, one is more bigger and it's used more common in the industry, and then we have a smaller version that's more accessible to regular people who just like to craft, you know. So in today's video, we're going to see if there's even a difference. Do you need both? Do you just need one? Like, we shall see. I'm going to put that to the test. So for the big heat press, I'm going to be using the WALAPRESS drawer clamshell heat press. This one is from Heat Transfer Warehouse. I have it in the 15 by 15, obviously in the pink color, because as you could tell, I love me some pink. So I've had this particular pink one for a few months. I think I got it back in September. But before that, I had the exact same heat press, just like an older version and in the purple color. So this particular heat press is the only big heat press that I've ever worked with, the only one that I've ever owned. It's the one that started it off for me. So it's been a little over 2 years that I've worked with this heat press and I still love it. No complaints here. And now for the handheld press that I'm going to be comparing it to, it's the CRICUT EasyPress 2. This one right here. This one, as you can see, it's pink as well. Pink all day, dude. I just love it. So here we have this one. This is what started the whole HTV journey for me. I got this back during the pandemic. I think it was back in like August 2020. So this one is going on 3 years. This one, I still love it as well. So that's why I decided to do this little competition between a big one and a little one, because I use both all the time. I've had both of these for like over 2 years. So we shall see if there's any differences between both of them. So starting off, obviously with the size, there's definitely a major difference. For the big heat press, that one is a 15 by 15 inch. Big ol' whammy. That one is huge. And then the CRICUT EasyPress, that one is only a 9 by 9. So obviously right off the bat, that's something to think about. Because with the 15 by 15, there's never been a time where I've been like, damn, I wish I had a bigger heat press. Because like what I want to press isn't big enough. No, it's usually always way smaller. First of all, the CRICUT, the widest it cuts is an 11.5. So I've never had to think about like, oh my God, I want to press something bigger and I don't have enough space. That's not the case with this one. So with the 15 by 15, I definitely never have to think about the size. And then we have the EasyPress. That one is only a 9 by 9. So when it comes to anything bigger than that, you have to think about like, obviously you're gonna have to go in multiple times pressing it, because if something is like, let's say 12 inches, obviously you have to press 2 different times to get the entire image. So definitely think about that. I do think the biggest handheld press that I've seen is maybe like a 12 by 10, and even that you still kind of have to be careful, because let's say you want to press something that's like 12 by 12, obviously you have that extra 2 inches that you have to go in again. So think about the size that you're working with. Think about whether you want to press things that are bigger or smaller, whatever it is that you're working on, because that's definitely a big difference between these two. And another thing that I did want to mention is the platen itself. I don't know anything about the material, so I might be wrong with what I'm saying, but the big heat press, the platen on that one is black. Not exactly sure what material that is made out of. And then the EasyPress over here, it has like a silver platen. This one reminds me more of like a regular iron. It has that like silver color. So this one has that, and as you can see, mine is a little bit stained. I have no idea why it got stained, but it's still working. It's still fine. Obviously on the big heat press, I'm not going to be able to tell if it gets messed up because it's like black. But yeah, we have the black platen versus a silver platen. Are they made of different materials? I honestly have no idea, but just want to mention that they're just different, you know? Another thing to think about is size, whether you have the space for it or not. Obviously, this EasyPress is not that big because look, it's a 9 by 9. I just put it in the bag, store it away, that's it. And then with the big heat press, you actually have to think about where you're going to put it, because that one you can't be moving it around. That one is heavy, dude. It's heavy. I couldn't even put it down myself. I had to have help from my dad and my brother because that thing is massive and these little arms would not have been able to move that. But yeah, with the big heat press, obviously you need to find space for it. It's going to need to stay there. You're not going to be able to move it. Then we have this heat press. Obviously you could store it away, put it away because it's not big. But then think about it. It's a different size. If you had a bigger plan, I don't think they would even make handheld presses that are 15 by 15s because that would just be way too massive, you know? So definitely keep in mind the size. And then obviously with size comes pricing. So think about your budget. Everyone's budget is different, whether you want to splurge or not, it's up to you. And I'm not even going to mention exact pricing because the big heat press is more expensive than the EasyPress. But then again, this one, it's an industrial heat press. It's bigger. And we have the little guy who's obviously smaller, so it's going to be cheaper. So it just all depends on your budget. So for the sake of this video, I'm just focusing on how it presses, how it functions, if one is faster than the other, if one is easier than the other. So that's pretty much what this video is about. And for both of these presses, I'm going to be pressing 3 different types of HTV. So I'm going to be pressing regular HTV, glitter HTV, and then I chose to do puff HTV. I specifically chose to do Puff HTV because I've heard that with Puff HTV, you're not supposed to use an EasyPress on it because you need just a ton of pressure for it. And obviously with the CRICUT EasyPress, you can't get a ton of pressure in comparison to a big heat press, you know? So I chose to use the Puff HTV just to give this a real test and see if it works. So this one specifically is a glow-in-the-dark Puff HTV. It's my first time trying it out, so bear with me if things go south. It's my first time. It's a learning game over here, you know? So if you're interested to see how a big heat press compares to a handheld press, then let's get started. So first up, I'm going to start off by using the big heat press. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that on. And then I'm going to adjust the settings. I'm using 3 different HTVs for this. So I'm going to set the temperature to 310 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to change the time to 10 seconds. And since this is a big heat press, this one obviously is going to take longer to heat up because look at the platen, it's bigger, it's a 15 by 15. So this one I would say takes about 5 to 10 minutes to heat up. So there's definitely a waiting game when it comes to this big heat press. And while that heats up, I'm going to adjust the pressure. So turning the knob clockwise will bring the platen down, which is going to give it more pressure. And then turning it counterclockwise is going to lift the platen up, giving it less pressure. So the way I adjust it, I just turn it clockwise, bring the platen down, see if it does it or not. So once I bring the platen down and I see that it doesn't lock, that means there's just way too much pressure because it's not going to be able to lock and you want it to lock. So just give the platen less pressure, bring it back down. If it locks, then you know you're good. And now that we have the pressure set, it's time to press. So as you can see, this heat press right here comes with a little drawer that pulls out. So there you go. You put whatever it is that you want here and then you just push it back. As you can see, the platen is here. So this is definitely more convenient because you actually get to see what it is that you're working on. So this little drawer right here comes with like a little squishy piece that's underneath. I obviously have a cover on it because I just feel like it protects it. It's gonna make it last longer. If this ever gets messed up, I can just switch this out, you know, and the whole thing isn't gonna get messed up, you know. So that's why I have a cover on it. And also this one has like a slippery material, so it makes it easier to put a shirt, take it out, put the next shirt, take it out, you know. So I just know that it just makes my life easier having this little cover on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, set my shirt, and then I'm gonna put my handy dandy t-shirt ruler right here just to even everything out, make sure it's straight. So let's just go ahead and start the layering. So we're gonna start with the easy weight. Just gonna center that. I think I might just bring it up a little bit. So I'm gonna bring it up so it doesn't get the neckline. So I don't know if you can see, but my platen already has a cover on it. So this is basically a Teflon cover for my platen. So I don't need to go in with the Teflon sheet to cover this because it's already on the platen. So that's what I like, that I don't have to put the Teflon sheet, take it out, put the Teflon sheet, take it out. This is already on there and I never have to take it off. So that's why I love that this big old platen just has its Teflon sheet already, you know? So let's just go ahead and press. Since I am layering, I'm just gonna do a few seconds. Now let's peel it. So far so good. Next up we have the glitter. So this is just gonna go right here. Once again, I don't have to put the Teflon because it's already on the platen. So let's just press for another 3 seconds. Let's peel it. And this next layer is the Puff HTV, and this one has a temperature of 280 degrees Fahrenheit. And it is my first time trying out this HTV and I don't want to mess it up, so I just want to go based off of the instructions. So I'm just going to go ahead and lower the temperature on my heat press, wait for it to cool down a little bit, because Puff HTV tends to be a little tricky. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just trying to hope for the best and just cool down the heat press so I make sure not to mess it up, you know. And now that the temperature is lower, let's just go ahead and put the puff layer. So the thing with HTV is that it tends to shrink. So sometimes you're gonna get an exact match with your border. Sometimes you're not. With this one, I'm not really getting it, but it's all good. So here's to hoping it comes out right. Oh my God. And I kind of need to hold it because it's like, it's not sticking. Damn, I'm scared and I don't want to tape it because like, what if it doesn't come out good? Whatever. Should I do it? Should I not? Whatever, let's do it. Fingers crossed. So I'm letting this one sit for 10 seconds. Let's hope it comes out good. Ready? Oh my God. Okay, it's on there, but is it puffy? I don't even know. So there's definitely a texture to it. Not sure if it's very puffy. It does have some 3D-ness to it. So I'm just glad it didn't mess up. It's not lined up, but it's all good. It still has like that cool design going on. So let's go look at it. So here we have the heat press side. Not too bad. We have the regular HTV, glitter HTV, puff HTV. The puff could have probably puffed up a little bit more, but we're gonna see how that puff works with the EasyPress because it clearly needs some pressure, so we'll see. So now let's just move on to the CRICUT EasyPress side. And now we have the CRICUT EasyPress. So for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing, turn it on, set the temperature and time, and I'm gonna use the same thing, 310 degrees Fahrenheit and 10 seconds. And as you can see, this one is obviously heating up way faster than the big heat press. But remember, this is a 9x9, so it's a smaller platen. It's probably less powerful than the big heat press because that one just has all these wires going on, you know, it's probably more voltage, whatever that means. But yeah, this one definitely heated up faster, but remember, it's smaller, probably less power. So we'll see how that works out. So for this one, we're using the exact same shirt. We're just continuing down the design. So as you could see in the big heat press, it had its own little drawer. And for this one, since it is a handheld press, it doesn't have its own little drawer. So I have to use this pressing mat right here. This is just a regular pressing mat, just looks like what you use to iron, you know? So I just go ahead and put my shirt over that. This is already prepped, so we're just gonna go ahead and start with our first layer. So for these, I'm using the exact same HCVs. I have a regular Easy Weed, glitter, and puff HCV. So let's start off with the glitter. So let's just put that layer down there. I can go ahead and put this layer as well, but for the sake of this video, I'm not gonna do that. Just think about me having different layers, you know, because with the big heat press, I didn't do that. So let's just start off with this glitter one right here. And as I mentioned, the big heat press had its Teflon sheet already on the platen. This one obviously doesn't, you need to cover it up. So I have my little handy dandy Teflon sheet right here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it up. Hopefully I don't get any of that gold HCV, but if I do, it is what it is. So let's just go ahead and press for 3 seconds. So this one, obviously, I don't know if you heard me, you have to straight up put your whole body weight into it, like you have to press down. So this one definitely needs more muscle work, because with the big heat press, you press it down, hands free, you do whatever you want with these. But with this one, you just have to pay attention, be pressing down, just have your whole body weight to it, you know? So let's just go ahead and peel. So far, so good. There's no lifting or anything. So next we have this regular HTV right here. I know with these two, I'm not gonna struggle because I've used this EasyPress with glitter and regular HCV before, so that's not gonna be an issue. The real test is gonna be the puff HCV, so we shall see how that works out. So let's go ahead and do this layer, another 3 seconds, and then obviously pushing down. So workout right here, dude, especially if you're doing a bunch of layers. So as you can see, just peel it off. And now the moment of truth, we have this guy right here, the puff. So this is gonna be the real test right here. So just go ahead and put it. Oh my God. There was a damn greña on it. Clearly I didn't prep it. Or I think it was in the back of the HTV. I don't know, but do you see it? A damn hair. Back to the puff HTV. So let's just go ahead and put it. This one doesn't align just like the other one because, you know, as I stated, HTV tends to shrink. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this down a little bit just so I have more, it's like closer to me, so I have actual space to bring it down. So the good thing about this is that the actual sheet is pressing it down, not like the other one that I was hoping for the best. So we'll see. Moment of truth. Oh my God. Ready? So we're doing the full-on 10 seconds for this one. Oy, you could even see my veins just popping out. Let's see. Not bad. Not bad. Definitely not bad, but I do notice that, I don't know, the texture of it seems, or maybe because of the color it stands out more, but I don't know why I feel like it's more curly than this one. So definitely not bad. I was expecting this one to like not work at all, but it did work. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but the edges of these, like around the letters, is more curly than these right here. These are just straight up cut where they were cut, you know, just straight line. But these right here have kind of like little lines like that going. Like let's say the O is kind of like that. Like it's very faint, but you can still see it. So that's definitely a big difference between the EasyPress and this one right here. But honestly, I really thought the EasyPress was gonna be a fail with the Puff HCV, but not that much. It still gave it some texture, maybe not as puffy, because I'm not exactly even sure how puffy these are supposed to be, but definitely not a fail here. So this one for sure is a little bit more curly than this one right here. But as you could see, the regular HTV pressed nicely, the glitter pressed nicely, the glitter on the big heat pressed nicely, so did the regular HTV, so did the puff. So definitely no fails here. And I do want to give these a wash test just because I know this section right here isn't gonna fail me because it's never failed me before. Like anything that I press with my heat press is fine. And the EasyPress hasn't failed me either, but I know with time the HTV does tend to lift because I do have some stuff that is starting to lift that was pressed with the EasyPress. So I just want to give it a wash test just to see what happens, especially these puff HTVs. I mean, especially this one, it could look like it's on there, but what if it's not, you know? So I'm just gonna go ahead and let this sit for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna turn it inside out, throw it into the wash, let it air dry, and then we're gonna come back to see if these survived or not. And here it is after it's been washed and air dried. It is a little wrinkled, but that's because I threw this into a regular wash just to really test it out. And as you can see, all of them are still intact. We have the heat press side still intact. The easy press side still intact. Surprisingly, the puff is still on there. So for sure, both of these survived the wash. So 2 thumbs up for that. And like I mentioned earlier, this puff HTV glows in the dark. Dude, look at it in the dark. How sick is that? I will never get over glow in the dark HTV because seeing it is like seeing it for the first time. It's just so cool that something is actually glowing, you know? So the fact that this one not only puffs, it glows in the dark too is just so cool. It looks sick. And here we have the shirt once again. Luckily, no fails here. Honestly, I thought this one was just gonna go down the drain, but I'm glad to see that it didn't. Everything worked out, so I'm happy for that. But yeah, honestly, I would say at the end of the day, it all depends on what it is that you're looking for, what you want, what type of crafts you're gonna do. If you know that you wanna do big graphics, big designs, I would say go for the big heat press, make space for it. If you have the space for it, 100% go with the big heat press. You're never gonna get disappointed. You're never gonna have to think about something not sticking. You know it's gonna survive multiple washes. With the easy press, obviously, that one is a little bit more trickier. You never know when something is gonna lift because you never know how much exact pressure you gave. As you saw with me, sometimes I struggle because like it's just hard to put pressure on it, you know? It's a heavy little iron, like it doesn't look that heavy, but when it comes to pushing, it's just a little bit of a struggle. But if you want to do like smaller crafts, like something that you don't really care if it sticks or not, like koozies or something that you're not gonna wash multiple times, I would say a heat press is game for that. Like this is perfect for like smaller projects, any little things, nothing major. 100% I use both of them all the time. I definitely reach more for my big heat press. That's my go-to. I use it all the time. I definitely prefer that one more than my easy press, but I know when it comes to like smaller projects, smaller things that I need to press, sometimes I just don't want to wait for the big heat press to heat up. I definitely go for the smaller version, but honestly when it comes to t-shirts, definitely big heat press all the way. If you know that you want to press t-shirts, I would 100% say go for the big heat press. You just can't go wrong with that, especially if you're going to sell to like customers or family or friends or things like that. Definitely go with the big heat press because you know that the results are always going to be, I would say, better than the easy press. So yeah, definitely think about that. But I would say the main thing that I love the most about the big heat press in comparison to the easy press would be the fact that I don't have to set up for it. Like for the big heat press, I'll connect it, turn it on, just wait for it to heat up. That's it. I'm chilling the whole time. The whole 10 minutes of it heating up. But then with the easy press on the other hand, I have to take it out of the bag, clear my table, make sure there's nothing there so I can press it. Take the heat press out, plug it in, turn it on, bring out the pressing mat, bring out the Teflon sheet. Just there's more prep when it comes to the smaller version in comparison to the big heat press because that one is just there. It's chilling. It's never going to be moved. The Teflon cover is on it, so there's nothing. It does take a little bit longer to heat up, but it's just chilling on its own. It does all the work for me, you know? And this one, I obviously have to do more of the work. I have to press it myself. I have to struggle. You're right there. You have to chill for like, let's say it's a 20-second press. You have to chill 20 seconds right there, you know? And then this one on the other hand, press it down for 20 seconds. You have 20 seconds to check your Instagram. And then this one you can't. You have to have all your focus and your weight and everything to this one. So the big heat press definitely makes life way easier. I think if you have the space for it, definitely consider it. It's more expensive, but I will say I think it's definitely worth it, especially if you're going to constantly be doing t-shirts. Just if you want to make your own like stuff, you know, it's totally worth it. And I think a complete game changer. But honestly, if you have the funds for it, I would say do both. Why not? Have the option to have a little version and the big version. There's nothing wrong with having options. You know, I have the big 15x15 heat press. I have a 12x10 craft heat press. I have a 9x9 easy press. And then I have a little one that's like, well, a 2x4 heat press. So those get used all the time. So if you have a little one, there's nothing wrong with going bigger. Bigger is never wrong. So I would say having multiple sizes is definitely not wrong because sometimes you want to use one, then you want to use another one. So I don't know, get whatever your heart and your wallet desires, you know, but you definitely can't go wrong with having more than one if your funds allow it, you know. Definitely think about the funds and your space. Always think about storing because that's definitely a big issue, you know. You have to think about storing your stuff. You don't want to have like a mess and then just have a whole bunch of stuff because here's the one thing about us crafters. We'll get into something and then we'll buy all these materials, all this stuff for, and you're gonna be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get into it. Do you ever get into it? Sometimes you don't, and you have like all your junk just sitting there, you know. So when it comes to these, since it's a big purchase, really think about it, really be like, am I gonna use it or not? Because you don't want something this big, because it's a commitment to have. Whether it's the little one or the big one, it's a commitment. You're gonna spend some coin on it, so definitely think about whether you're gonna use it or not, because you don't want to have your press just chilling there like all your other craft supplies are, you know? So definitely think about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little comparison and maybe got a better idea on what press you want to go for. I will have both of these linked down below. The big heat press is actually on sale right now. My particular one is on sale. They have it in 3 different colors. It's pink, purple, and like a teal. I'll also have the CRICUT EasyPress link down below. My pink version I think was limited edition. I can't find that one anywhere, but there's other colors, and then there's actually a newer version of it, the CRICUT EasyPress 3. So if you want to spend a little bit more money, I honestly feel like it's the same. I haven't tried it, but I feel like it's the same. But yeah, I'll have those 2 linked down below if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave me your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and yeah, I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.